Hello and welcome to Inside the Video Store, episode 62. I thought I'd start off with a progress report. Obviously last week I told you all about this great idea, and it seems to be a great idea. You guys have been very complimentary about it, about extending the store floor space into an extra room, horror section, blah, blah, blah. Long way to go, a lot of things to do, but every week we'll have a little progress report. So I thought we'll start the show with a progress report. Obviously, this time last week, this was an empty space. So I built these units, which are great units, to be honest. So these house all the TV series, which don't really shift, but there's some stuff here that I just can't get rid of. Really, I can't, Kolchak the Night Stalker, for example, can't get rid of that. Even Homicide: Life on the Street, one of the greatest TV shows ever made. And some of the classic TV shows like Tales from the Dark Side, for example, and also Tales of Unease, the great British anthology series that didn't really get anywhere. But in doing so, I've been gutting the back area of the store this past week. Haven't had that much time because it's been really, really busy with the bank holiday. You're working 6 days a week. It's tricky to come back here when the store's open. So you tend to pinch half an hour each day here and there. But I'm quite happy with what I've got done. So this is here. I found a load of stuff that, has just been locked away for 15 and 20 years that I'll finally be able to get out into my horror section, which is really, really exciting. For example, look at all these Scream House movies. You ever remember the Scream House label? Really low budget horror. But these are a premium. Check them out on eBay. For example, look at this, Monstered. That's Monstered, a killer zombie feces. Picked this up for a couple of quid 20 years ago. There's 2 copies on eBay. They're now listed at £120 for Monstered. Crazy. But there's some good films here. Some have since come out on Blu-ray, like Shatter Dead, for example, is out on Blu-ray. Ozone is out on Blu-ray. Kingdom of the Vampires as well, I think. So yeah, it'd be nice to get those out in the new horror section. Also, these Toxie's Triple Terror sets, these trauma sets of films that they've acquired. Full set of 7. They've been locked away in the back for many, many decades. And there's good stuff on here. You've got Video Demons Do Psycho Town, Croaked, the Frog Monster from Hell, and other great stuff. Stuff Stephanie in the Incinerator. Fantastic. So here's where we are with this. So this room now is pretty much right. There's not much to do here, to be honest. This is pretty much as it should be. So let's go up the store and see what other progress we've made. And here we are. Here is the kitted out stockroom. Shelves fully painted. 2 coats, unfortunately, which was a bit of a swine. Still needs a bit of work to be done. The floor needs to be painted black. So I'm going to do that next Wednesday. Next Wednesday I have a free day completely. A free day. So I'm going to use that to paint the floor of this stockroom black. But in the next few days, I'll be filling these shelves with everything from the storeroom behind me. And yeah, we're getting there, to be honest. So I anticipate that by this time next week, this storeroom, my second storeroom, will be completely ready and can be left alone and all sorted. So that's the next stage. That's the next stage. And then hopefully I can start dealing with this room. The plan is that by this time next week, so it's Wednesday now, 28th, by next Wednesday, I anticipate that this room will be stripped completely. No shelves, no product, no nothing, just a complete hollow shell. Spare day next Wednesday, and I throw myself into it for about 8 hours, 9 hours, and then just completely strip this room, get it down to a shell, and hopefully start painting. Then once this room is fully painted, the Wednesday after, I can begin to build the custom-made shelves. I think we'll need about 9 custom-made shelves altogether, 3 on the right-hand wall, 3 on the left-hand wall, and then some up above the door and to the side of the door and behind, well, where I'm standing here. So yeah, so that will be done in the next 7 to 10 days. That will take us to mid-June. I think the custom-made cabinets will take it to the degree of 4 to 6 weeks to build. I don't think I can build more than 2 to 3 a week, but we shall see. We shall see. I am a bit obsessive when it comes to things like that. I do tend to throw myself in. So we'll see how we go. But there's no rush. It needs to be right. It needs to be perfect. And of course, the last job, but when everything is done, all the custom-made cabinets are done, when the room is completely ready, then it's just a case of removing this door. Sorry, Jack. Removing the fixture behind it, which is the horror overflow, then removing the horror section behind that. And then we're sorted. We have a brand new horror section capable of storing about 3,000 to 4,000 films, which is mega. So yeah, good progress this week. Good progress this week. And I shall file another report this time next week. Yeah, so good progress. Good progress. Still really don't know when I'm going to finish. It's still early days. But yeah, when I finish pretty much depends on the custom-made shelving and how easy that is to put in place, because there is a lot of it. But like I said, it's got to be right. It has to be absolutely perfect with the biggest amount of films I can possibly fit in there. You know, I need to really exploit its capacity. So we shall see. We shall see. But the good thing is it started. We're only a week in, and already I think that we've achieved big steps. So keep your suggestions coming in. More than welcome. Got some to read out later. Thank you for your feedback this week. It's been great. And yeah, welcome to Inside the Video Store. It's been another good week. A great bank holiday, busy bank holiday. Had some good stuff from online via a few posts from a few little groups that do a little bit of work in the community in terms of promoting local businesses. So that's had a bit of a knock-on effect. So again, lots of new customers coming here for the very first time, which is fantastic. Also had a guy, a commercial director from down south in that place, London, who got in touch about making a documentary. He read the Guardian article that was out last year, which interviewed all of the remaining video store owners in the country. And he wants to translate that into a documentary feature, which might be interesting, to be honest, because all the remaining rental stores in the country all have a different way of doing things, a different mode of operations. So it'll be interesting to, I think, look at that, compared. I think it would be interesting to compare that. Because as far as I'm aware, Snips is the only place in the country that's looking forward to the degree of, Blu-ray, 4K UHD, independent labels, boutique purchases. So it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to look at that. So we shall see. He's just sent me another email just in the last few minutes. So I'll reply to that and we'll get the ball rolling. Should be fun. In the meantime, a good week this week. A small what's in the box, thankfully, for a change. But there is a very, very good week of new releases. And let's have a quick look at what's come in. Obviously, the lead title for me is Queer. It's the new Luca Guadagnino film. Director, as you well know, of Call Me By Your Name. This one features Daniel Craig in the lead role as an expat in Mexico City. A bit of a loner out there, but he meets someone. Yeah, as a student, is it? I forget. But yeah, I think they develop a relationship, and it promises to be, a really good film. Mubi have released it in this country. Went for 2 blues on this, 2 blues and 1 DVD. So yeah, I reckon that's the right thing to do, because I think this is. I think it's important that you give your backing to that type of indie film from an iconic director. So hopefully, a heavier copy depth on that will pay dividends, but we shall see. We shall see. Speaking of iconic independent directors, we have Boon Jong-ho has gone to Warner Brothers to make his first English language film. Is that right? But yeah, Mickey 17. Mickey 17. From the director of Memories of Murder, Host, Snowpiercer, Parasite, Mother. Does it work out when foreign directors go and make an English language film? Give me examples of when it's worked. Does this work? I mean, it sounds intriguing. It does sound intriguing. Robert Pattinson is in it. You've got Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo. Reviews have been mixed, to say the least. I think there's a big feature just after its release that mocked its paltry box office showing, but box office means nothing, as you well know. But it looks interesting. It looks very, very interesting indeed, and I'm certainly looking forward to watching it. But yeah, interesting, because so many foreign language directors have gone, great Asian filmmakers have gone to America and not done so well. Obviously, I can think of none right now, but that is that so few do, don't they? But tell me, prove me wrong, prove me wrong. But yeah, it is a new film by Boon Jong-ho. It's called Mickey 17, and again, we're going for 2 Blues and 1 DVD on that. So interesting to see what people think of that. This looks great. This looks a little bit like a wrestler kind of film, the Darren Aronofsky film of someone who's sadly coming to the end of their professional career. And this is Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson got nominated for a Golden Globe for this, The Last Showgirl. Great cast: Jamie Lee Curtis, Dave Bautista. Yeah, a joyous tribute to long gone Las Vegas. It sounds gorgeous. It's directed by Gia Coppola, who is, of course, the granddaughter of Francis Ford Coppola, and the daughter of, who was it? Was it Gia Carmine Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's son, who tragically died in '86, just before she was born, I think. But this looks great. I do like to see someone like that coming back into a prominent role. Always reminds me of Robert Forster coming back into Jackie Brown. But this looks a genuinely good film. And we've gone with 1 Blue and 1 DVD. The Thicket is an odd one, for example. This is a Tubi original. So it's a big surprise to see it come to DVD. Peter Dinklage is in it. Juliette Lewis is in it. And James Hetfield from Metallica is in it, which is strange. But yeah, there we go. The Thicket is out this week, only on DVD. Only on DVD, but it looks... it's based on the book by Joe R. Lansdale. Joe R. Lansdale, who, of course, wrote the book for Bubba Hotep, which is the greatest Bruce Campbell film that you may never have seen. Well worth a look. So they're the new ones, and I'm quite happy with those, to be honest. I think that's a very strong week indeed. A quality week. A quality week. On to the boutiques this week. We have another new one from Third Window, who I'm really hell-bent on supporting this year. This is a film by Toshiaki Toyoda. And yeah, it references, on the back, it references Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Tokyo Sonata. It references Korida's Still Walking. And it references Sion Sono's Noriko's Dinner Table. The film that started it all. Family as a nightmare and a fount of terror, discord, and disquiet. Sounds interesting. Sounds very interesting. This one dates back to... I'm going to say 1999, but I could be way off on that, and I probably am. But yeah, it goes back a couple of decades, but sounds great. from Indicator. These are just out of shot, I think, but been collecting all the Roland Blu-rays because, well, Roland clicked with me a few years back. I'm so glad he did. And the film that made me click with Roland was The Iron Rose, which still today remains my favorite film of his. It's so good. And these Indicator releases on Blu-ray are just incredible. You got a hard outer booklet and the disc itself in a separate sleeve. And this is The Iron Rose. His atmospheric detour into the realms of the fantastique. Brilliant. Loads of special features. I mean, a wedge of special features on this. But yeah, another great entry into the Jean Roland Indicator section. Also in the Roland Indicator section is this, Girls Without Shame. This did get a release over here. Let's see if we can find it. A few years ago from Odeon, Schoolgirl Hitchhikers. This, however, is a slightly more sober cover, less exploitative. It's retitled Girls Without Shame. It's an erotic crime caper that he directed under a pseudonym. But again, just like The Iron Rose, it's got a great barrage of special features on it. And these Roland Blu-rays do rent very well indeed, so it's great to have them. Next up in the boutiques, we have Umberto Lenzi's Oasis of Fear. This came in this week, although it is out in another 7 days. I think it comes out the 4th of June or whatever it was, 3rd of June. It's the new one by Shameless. I do like this new design that Shameless have got with the black slips. I think it suits them quite well. But yeah, Oasis of Fear, or AKA An Ideal Place to Kill, AKA Dirty Pictures. This takes us back to 1971 with a trippy, erotically charged giallo that fuses 70s counterculture hedonism with escalating psychological edginess. Looks great, and you can't beat a bit of Lenzi. We had the first one of the Dollars trilogy in a few weeks back, and the second one is here now. From Arrow Video. Oh, have you clocked the Arrow Video announcement today? I'd best not tell you what it is, just in case there's a hiccup. That'd be great, wouldn't it, if I told you what the announcement was, and they, for some reason, didn't announce it. But yeah, this is for a few dollars more. For a few dollars more. Lavish, again. I know that's a word I use a lot in the boutique section, but it is just a lavish set. Gorgeous booklet, gorgeous Blu-ray, beautiful hard box with a slip as well. Great to finally have these iconic spaghetti westerns in Ultimate Edition. So this is the latest. There's one more to go, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. But 2 out of 3 so far, with the other one, is it the end of next month? I think it is. Now, this is an interesting one. This is slightly delayed. It's due out from Treasured Films a few weeks back. This is King of the Ants, which is a unique marriage of talent. Stuart Gordon, one of my favorite directors, Stuart Gordon, who made a whole slew of H.P. Lovecraft themed work, a Reanimator, From Beyond, Dagon, as well as some great little horror films like Dolls for Charlie Band, and well, some great thrillers like Edmund, for example, with William H. Macy. That was fantastic, wasn't it? But yeah, this is King of the Ants. This is Stuart Gordon's film from 2002. Iconic horror director. It's written by Charlie Higson from The Fast Show. And it's based on his book, which is amazing. And Charlie Higson is thankfully all over the extras as well. It's a great addition from Treasured Films. Ironically, this was an early film from the Asylum. So I think this is the first film from the Asylum that's now available in a lavish special edition Blu-ray, which is very cool indeed. Wow. Sad news, though. One of the lead actors in this film is sadly no longer with us. The great George Wendt from Cheers, Norm, Plays a great role in this film. Yeah, and he did pass away sadly this week. He cropped up at some great films that you don't expect him to see him in, like House, for example. The really cool horror film with William Catt. Well worth a look if you've not seen it. Finally, this week in the boutiques, we have Terror in the Fog. I've been obsessed with these films for quite some time, and the fact that they've never ventured over this side of the channel. Edgar Wallace, well-known British crime author, murder mystery novels, and the Germans just absolutely love them. They weren't crime films; they were known as Krimis, Krimis, or Krimis. Hugely popular in West Germany during the 60s. There's 5 of them contained here. We have, The Curse of the Yellow Snake, The Strangler of Blackmore Castle, The Mad Executioners, etc., etc. All very British-themed murder mysteries with a dose of horror and a great kind of gothic atmosphere to them. Brilliant that they're finally here. There is more, so hopefully if this one sells well, then there will be another volume from Eureka. But what a great set this is. That is Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Crimi films at CCC. And there we go. That is this week's new releases. It's a great week, isn't it? It's a really strong week. Right, let's crack on with the on loans. Another good mix. Have we ever had anything twice here? I mean, we've begun 62 episodes. Have we ever named anything twice? Because if not, this is about 500 films 500 different films that I've highlighted as being on loan, which is really cool. First up, our friend Rebecca was in last night, and you can always rely on Rebecca for a really unique double bill. And this is it. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, this is it. Der Golem, classic German silent cinema, 1920. And Frostbiter, Wrath of the Wendigo. Brilliant. I love, this film is, funny enough, it's just come back in the last week or so, I think. I think James rented it. But yeah, I think it's a great film. Frostbiter, 1995. Cheap and cheesy, but with great practical effects. And of course, The Golem, which I've never seen. Carl Bose and Paul Wegener directed it. It is, of course, an iconic early horror masterpiece. And considered a landmark film in the horror genre. So that's a very eclectic mix of films from Rebecca there. Very interesting indeed. This one rented out yesterday, 24/7. One of my favourite films. I love this film. Went to the premiere, ironically, when I was 18 in Nottingham. Shane Meadows' first feature-length film. It's fantastic. It's in black and white. Brilliant soundtrack. Brilliant cast. Many non-actors in actor roles. Bob Hoskins is the lead. You got Bruce Jones in this as well, playing a really good role. And it's fantastic. It is a genuinely fantastic film. I love it to bits. It's coming out on Blu-ray in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eye out for that. Long overdue Blu-ray release of that film. Soundtrack is Tim Buckley, The Charlatans, Paul Weller. Fantastic. So yeah, 24/7. Really cool to see that going out on loan, because it's a film that I cannot speak highly enough of. Likewise with this, to be honest. I mean, I do like Sidney Lumet. In any guise, to be honest. He's such a prolific filmmaker, and there is a few iffy ones in his canon, but this is just a beautiful film. It is running on empty from 1987, was it? 88. And I love this film. I love the political undercurrent from it. Judd Hirsch is phenomenal in this, always on the run with his wife after blowing up a napalm lab in 1971. And they've got 2 kids, or 1 kid, 2 kids. One of which is River Phoenix, and River Phoenix is so good in that film. in this film. There's a scene in the film where they play James Taylor, Fire and Rain, and it is just one of the most perfect films in cinema, perfect scenes in cinema history. James took out Go, Doug Liman's film, which hasn't been out for quite some time. I don't think there's a Blu-ray of this either, but reading his social media, he seemed to have liked it, both him and his partner. And from what I remember, I saw it at the cinema when it first came out. I loved this film to pieces when it first came out. It is in that a little bit post-Tarantino era oeuvre, but it's good fun. It's good fun. It has a good cast in it. You know, you got William Fichtner, Katie Holmes, Breckin Meyer, Jane Moore, Sarah Polley, Scott Wolf. Good people, good cast, good director. Go out on loan for the first time in ages. Good to see De La Morte Del Amor, Cemetery Man, going out on loan. I only got the DVD of this. Does anyone remember an issue with the Shameless Blu-ray of this? It might be me, might be making it up. I'm sure there's an issue with the Shameless Blu-ray. If there isn't, I shall upgrade it because this is a all-time classic. New York, New York went out this week. Scorsese is a very popular filmmaker to take out on loan. This isn't so much of a popular renter, and it should be because it's a great film. So yeah, glad to see that heading out. And finally, Red Rocket, still going strong is our man, Mr. Baker. In the wake of Anora, 3 copies out on loan at the moment, which is fantastic to see. 1 4K UHD and 2 blues, and all those other films are doing very well indeed. Okay, we're a bit short of time today, so I'm just going to tackle this What's in the Box. It's a single box, just came this morning from Strange Vice. Haven't really opened it, aside from unsealing it. Brilliant packaging. Honestly, if you ever need anything sending to you in terms of Blu-ray from America or Germany or anywhere like that, and you don't go direct to the supplier, I thoroughly recommend Strange Vice, because if there's any films that I've just missed out on, just eluded me, I can always rely on them. The packaging is second to none, as you can see. The shipping and delivery is second to none, overnight usually. Communication is phenomenal. And yeah, so if ever you want any imports, head over to strangevice.co.uk. It's a great website for imported physical media. Always have a great selection, and they always get everything in bulk. Fairly sharpish. 3 here. All 3 films I'm incredibly excited about. We've got the first in the Smodcastle cinema range. The first in the Smodcastle cinema range. Smodcastle Cinema, of course, is Scott Mosier and Kevin Smith's line of films that they produced back in the day, back in the late 90s, when they were really in their prime. A Better Place is from director Vincent Pereira, produced, of course, by Kevin Smith. And it's an edgy teen thriller. I've never seen it, but there's a few films to go on this line, which are put out by MVD, all region free, and I'm really looking forward to getting into those. Secondary is, I'll tell you what, I picked up Empire of the Dark from VCI recently. Underrated label. And here's another film from them, which has just come out. It's The Naked Witch. It has another title, but it's from 1969. I forget what the original title was, but it's a standard witchy Louisiana swamp, satanic coven style of film. Very much a drive-in movie, but and very much neglected. But I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how VCI have made it look. Finally, in What's in the Box, we have the Bikini Car Wash Company 1 and 2. For some reason, in the 90s, there was a rash of bikini-themed films. Honestly, they were everywhere. Bikini Summer, Bikini Traffic School, Bikini Driving School, Bikini this, Bikini that. trend, whatever. It didn't last long. And these are two of them. Bikini Comics Company 1 and 2 are here on Blu-ray, which is so exciting. Great releases. They were initially announced with a relatively short running time. And it was realized that the masters they had were the edited masters. They weren't the original VHS masters. But thankfully, they have tracked down at MVD. MVD have tracked down the original SD standard definition videotape masters and have included these as well. So you've got the main feature in a 1080p Blu-ray quality, but edited slightly. However, you also have a standard definition cut, which is fantastic. That's what you want. That's the care and appreciation that you want with these types of movies. And the first film, of course, you have a audio commentary from Jim Wynorski. So there's not much, nothing, you can't get better than that. So it's great. Bikini Comics Company 1 and 2 is in the house. Cool. Okay, got a little bit of time left, not much, just to quickly run through the comments. And thank you again. Thank you again for being so comment happy, because it is great. I do love getting comments, especially about last week's announcement, which is great. Oh yeah, Paul Griggs has got a question for everyone. He went to Dreamscape the other week, which he did enjoy. But he wants to know what your favorite video store covers are, especially for films that might not be quite as good once you get past the artwork. So he's looking for films that you saw in the video store, maybe today, maybe when you're a kid, that you thought, that looks amazing, but when you got it home, it wasn't that great. Any ideas? Comment below. Andy Grinnell, thought from the missus? Thought from the missus for the new horror room. Get a table next to the chairs and have a visitor's recommend book for people to recommend their favorites. It's a good idea, but it's not my cup of tea. It's a little bit middle class. No, it's a little bit rigid. It's a bit old fashioned. We've got all these great opportunities to talk to each other verbally about recommendations. So I don't want to stifle someone's enthusiasm. I'm the conduit. I'm the person that people tell, and then I can pass on that information to them. As soon as you put a book down, I think it just seems like you're leaving a book of condolence at the front of a church. So it's not my cup of tea, unfortunately. But thank you anyway, Mrs. Grinnell, for that very appreciative suggestion. But something, unfortunately, that strictly isn't my cup of tea. Although Andrew Grinnell does go on to say, are you going for a beaded curtain entrance? No. That would be seedy. We need a welcoming, well-lit, colourful, lovely place for people to relax. We do not need something that conjures up the entry to a pornography section in an 80s seedy video store. Need to get away from that. It's all about the future. Lee Marn says, I think the idea of a new horror section is a really good one. Anything that increases the capacity of the shop has to be a good idea. And yeah, it is. It's future-proofing it. It's future-proofing it for the next few years. That's the important thing. Del Bongo says, your new horror section reminds me of my local video store back when I lived in Holland. They had something incredibly similar, although it wasn't horror they kept back there. You see what I mean, Mr. Grinnell? Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I think this is where the idea came from. Because I was thinking, when I was a kid, I used to have a video store in Heswell, where I'm from, and it was called Belmont Video. And the horror section was just past the counter, up a step. So to get the horror section, it was in a separate room, and you had to pass the counter and hop up a step and go around a corner. It was really hidden away out in somewhere else. And I think that must have stayed in my brain for the last 35 years. And I think that's why that idea has come to me. I don't know. But anyway. Skulder, the Horror Dungeon Backroom expansion project sounds fun. Yeah. Franco-esque says, listen, The Nameless, the Ramsey Campbell film, is super, super dark. The best Ramsey Campbell adaptation yet. Good. And the other one isn't connected to it other than the fact that it is a Ramsey Campbell adaptation. Franco-esque also says, we need to do a Kickstarter to fund a limited edition Blu-ray run of the Liverpool shorts, just to catch it in the moment. That is a good idea. I would like to see all those films on Blu-ray, especially in this store. M62 Films says he loves the idea of the horror section being a little Aladdin's cave at the back. Growing up, our local Ritz video store had a little section past the rental counter just for kids' films, which you had to duck under to get through. That's kind of cool, isn't it? And again, it is the sort of vibe that we inevitably will get. Else we got Jonah Fish. The horror room sounds like a great idea. I recently watched David Dakota's Witch House, which featured prominently on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And I enjoyed it. Do you have any good Dakota recommendations? My reply to Jonah Fish was, well, it depends how gay you want to go. But Jonah Fish had no idea, unfortunately, that about Dakota being such a gay icon in terms of horror movies. Although I gave Jonah Fish some very low-key introductions. I said, if you want to go to the Dakota films and you've never been there, I would go to Creepazoids, I would go to Skeletons with Ron Silver, I would go to Lady Avenger, and I would go to Shrieker from Full Moon. That would be my first 4 David Dakota films past Witch House. So, yeah, good stuff. Zephyr9720 says, first of your vids I've watched, great stuff. So that's great. Great to have you on board. What else we got? Matt says, the horror room sounds so cool. I'll help you paint it in exchange for 3 fee rentals. Cheeky. And no. I have actually had an offer of labor for free from Tom, so thank you, Tom. But no labor. We're good. Stephanie Crawford says, a shark killer would be a one crazy summer. Yes, indeed. I think the horror section idea is great, looks cool. And as someone with a bit of social anxiety, it's really thoughtful to let people have a bit of room to hide away in that bit where they're browsing. I think it is, because the horror section is a magnet for people, especially those people who are a little bit neurodiverse. So I think to enable them to have some out of eye contact, out of my gaze, which inevitably, because I'm around this area, can be a little bit, uncomfortable at times. I thought, well, yeah, that's the way to do it. So yeah, thank you for your feedback, Stephanie. Nathan says, thanks for the kind words, Dave, about Pond. Nathan was one of the filmmakers at the festival. I can't wait to show Pond to more people. Absolutely, Nathan. I can't wait for more people to see Pond. It is an absolutely unique piece of work. Dean Everest said, great video, Dave, and absolutely love the idea of a dedicated back room for your horror section. As you know, these spaces are reserved for films aimed at a more adult audience, usually identified by neon and a red velvet curtain. You see, we have to get out of that frame of mind. Yeah, but yeah, it is a thing. As soon as you go in the back, I still get people, whenever I do a video anywhere or TikTok and places like that, even if there's a newspaper article, someone always comments, oh, but what videos have you got under the counter? It's amazing how something that hasn't been a thing for 30 years is still at the forefront of people's minds. And we've got to get out of that, got to make it friendly, got to make it welcoming, got to make it habitable. It's got to be a place where people can genuinely feel at ease. Matt Blogs says, saw your name in the latest SFX magazine. Unfortunately, just in the review seat, people, though. I'm not in a discussion of the shop. Maybe one day, Matt. Maybe one day. Carl McLaughlin says, love the idea of a horror room, Dave. Horror fans will be in their element, having their own space to browse at their leisure. Big Al says, sounds exciting. New plans. Looking forward to seeing it take form and to see the store grow. Andy Martin says, great episode as usual, Dave. Really looking forward to this Arrow announcement. Very intrigued. Should be out now. Got to say, you and the story getting everywhere. I was checking out Fangoria yesterday, and they were doing a feature on video shops that still exist. I had a look, and lo and behold, you were mentioned first. You had quite a lengthy spread, indeed. Neil Davis says, cool, first time I've ever won anything. Neil won the Seed People Blu-ray last week. His son Fallon picked it up a few days ago, which was great. Reading Rainbow says, I love the idea for the horror. Does anyone hate the idea of a horror movie? It is universally acclaimed, which is great. And yes, thank you for all your comments this week. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's always good to hear from you. Keep the suggestions coming. Keep the ideas coming. Anything you want to see in a horror section? Anything specific? Any subsection that you want to see in a horror section? Obviously, we've got mainstream horror. We've got British horror. We've got Hammer horror. And other things might make their way in there as well. But yeah, keep the ideas coming. Keep the ideas coming. And yeah, that's about it for this week. I have a table booked in around about 20 minutes' time. It was my birthday yesterday. The big 4-8. Outrageous. So yeah, I'm heading out for some food. And yeah, great to chat. Great to chat. Hope it's been okay. And look forward to speaking to you in the comment section in the next few days. Until then, I will see you in 7 days' time.